As Jewish people from all over the world, from Israel to the ends of the world, we commemorate Rosh Hashanah and Yom Teruah. And it is known by the rabbis as the birthday of the world, more specifically the birthday of humans, when God created Adam and Eve. But more importantly, it is known as the festival. Yom Teruah is the day of blowing the shofar, blowing the trumpets, the day of trumpets, if you will. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that, and a little bit about what God has placed in my heart personally this year, and about this season in particular. Fall has always been one of my favorite, if not my favorite season. Yes, autumn, my favorite time. Why? Because this is a time of renewal for both us and creation. Or should I say creation itself and then us. We were created later. But as you can see, I'm here in a park enjoying the beautiful creation, God's beautiful creation, nature, right? I'm in South Florida, so right here, there's not much fall going on, as you can see. In many parts of the country up north, you start seeing the leaves change color during this time. During this particular day, this was done, and it's from Leviticus. God said that this would be one of the appointed times, appointed festivals during the fall, and you would blow the shofar, the ram's horn. And it's a dead thing, right? Because it comes from a dead animal. But once it's polished and cleaned and purified, and you blow through it, the men and women too nowadays, blow the shofar, and the wind from that makes that sound, that powerful cry, that sound, which is very important to hear. And by the way, wind as well as spirit in Hebrew is ruach. That's the Hebrew word for it, ruach. And ruach also means wind. So I don't know if some of you might know that you're used to hearing ruach and thinking, oh, spirit, but it's also wind. So when you're, in modern Hebrew we use ruach for to refer to wind. So when you're blowing that, when they blow the shofar, a sound, that ruach, spirit and wind, blows through it and becomes alive. You hear then the sound of the shofar. That's ruach. Right? So also us, sometimes when we go through this year, we go through every year through trials, tribulations, hardships, we have difficulties, we life is not perfect. We need this time to renew ourselves. We need this time to say, first and foremost, God, you are my God and you are my King. That's why we sing this song of Inu Malkeinu, our Father, our King. And we recognize that He is our Father, our Daddy. And He is also our King. When we make Him our King, King of our hearts, He's already King. We established that a long time ago. But when we make Him Lord and King of our lives, He starts changing things around. There's a shift that starts to happen in us, right? Because we start to be renewed. That's another key element in this holiday, in this holy day, the renewal. So He renews us, and He takes that which is dead. He takes that which is old and filthy in our hearts and in our souls, and He cleans it, He purifies. So that's exactly what He does during this time of Yom HaTeruah, the feast of the trumpets. All the shofarot are sounded. The shofarot are sounded all over the world, in every Jewish synagogue from Israel to the ends of the world. And it's important to hear that sound. It's the sound of your Father calling you back home. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what you've done. There's nothing that He can't forgive. There's nothing that He can't cleanse. Yeshua says that You do not know the hour of the day when the Son of Man is to return. We don't know the hour. We don't know the day. But he wants a purified bride. Just like we don't know the hour or the day when the new moon happens during this High Holy Day, during this time of Yom Teruah. Back then, they didn't know, right? So neither do we know when he's going to return, but he wants us to be ready. And how is that going to happen? By us seeking him as Lord of our lives. You know, as I mentioned the trees before, I love autumn. It's not only because it's my birthday, October 13th, no. But today is October 1st as well, so it's the beginning of the month. But I love this season especially because of these high holy days. They draw us closer to God. We take inventory during this time, and we really take into consideration what we've done that has not pleased God, and what we have not done that also doesn't please God. And you know what? It's by his grace that we are saved. We know that. But he also wants us to become like him, purified, so that we can reach people, that we can be a light into the world just like he was. And you know, again, speaking about the trees, I should have started this by saying, beware of the rabbit trails. Excuse me for my rabbit trails. You know, I go through those quite often. But the trees they change colors, right, during this season. And if you've seen the change during their process, they change colors, and the colors are beautiful. They're like red, brown, yellow, orange, all these different colors. And I'm sure it's not a pretty process. The result is, but it's not it's a very painful process. It's a process of cleanliness. They're purifying themselves, getting ready, right? That's the same thing with us. Sometimes we go through very difficult times where the process of purification is painful. We go through these types of different circumstances, difficult circumstances, where we don't know what's happening until later on. Even in that process, we start seeing change. We start seeing beauty. We start seeing these different colors come out. And it's wonderful and it's beautiful. You know, I'm just so amazed by God's creation, and especially the trees. I love trees. I love nature. I also love the city too. So, you know, probably not going to find me anytime soon in rural world. But hey, you never know. I'm not saying anything, but I love it. And then later on, the leaves fall. They get ready for spring in the end, and they spring up in the colors. You know, they go back to vibrant green, but our process is the same as the tree. It's the same as the ram's horn. Without him, we are lifeless. Without him, we are not pretty. We're not beautiful. We're you know, a mess. It's a big mess in our lives. But with him, when we have the Ruach HaKodesh in us, when we have the Lord in us and through us, and through us, and he, when we allow him to come into our hearts to purify our souls, beauty comes out of it. He brings beauty for ashes, and he brings out his colors in us and through us, and then we can be a light into the world. Then we can be oxygen, like these trees are, right? We can be oxygen to those who need it. We can be a breath of life, fresh air to the dying world. Okay? So on this Rosh Hashanah, this Yom HaTruah, I pray that you would have an amazing encounter with your wonderful Messiah, with your beautiful Creator, that he would purify your souls, that he would purify our hearts and souls and minds and renew us. And that you would have a beautiful, wonderful year filled with his blessings, first of all, his wonderful blessings, that you would be able to hear his voice constantly, that you would be able to, that he would give you joy unspeakable and full of his glory, that he would bless you financially, your storehouse would always be full, to be able to give back and to enjoy the plenty of the land, and that in every area of your life you would be successful. הרבה הצלחה, הרבה אהבה, אושר, שמחה לכולם. אני אוהבת אתכם, אני מתפללת עבורכם.